Hello and welcome to the channel. Thanks very much for watching. This is part 2 of the two-part video series about the BruceWayne, Rolex BruceWayne GMT-Master II Homage. So we left it with the second hand installed, and the next stage is we are about to remove the stem and get the whole thing into the case and bracelet. So as usual, I'm trying to release the lever that allows the stem to be pulled out, which I've just done. And now it's just a case of tipping out the movement and putting the bracelet on top. So obviously making sure that the 3 o'clock goes on the dial goes directly under the date window, the 3 o'clock position on the bezel. I'm just, you may have noticed in the first video, I just carelessly touched the dial a couple of times with my finger. A real watchmaker watching my videos would probably take to their bed, because I do things like touching the dial sometimes with my bare fingers, and it leaves a little sort of oily smudges on, which you can only see in a certain light. And I tried to keep my fingers on the very edge of the dial so you don't see it, and I've got these little cleaning tools which gets the worst of it off, and there's always Rodico if it gets too bad. But now I'm just placing the case over the dial, and the window, the date window is over the 3 o'clock position, and just pressing the movement in properly, and there it is. So now I need to unscrew the crown and add the supplied stem that came with the movement. It's an NH34 movement, of course. And the tricky part about this is getting the stem the exact right length. So to do that, first of all attach the crown to the stem, and then put the stem in and see how far it's sticking out. Obviously making sure it's properly engaged. Now here I'm just levering the movement into a slightly better position. You want the stem to be going in to the case and not touching either of the sides, or nowhere near touching the sides of the sort of cylinder that you can see sticking out of the case. It needs to be sort of dead center in the middle, not touching any piece of metal, or not even closer to one side than the other. Which that's that's not bad, but it certainly wasn't perfect when I started off. So now I'm checking that the stem is actually winding the movement, so it is properly inserted. And you can see there's quite a bit to take off there. You can do it by eye, but I tend to measure it, to be honest. Just having another go, getting the stem in. It doesn't feel quite right, but it is winding the movement now. So now it's time to measure. Now this one's got a spring load, so the crown pushes in a little bit. So you've got to allow for that when you're measuring. So you want the distance from the case to the position the crown is in when it's pushed in, as far as the spring will let it go. And I generally like to mark this stem before I cut it. So I keep the distance that I've measured, that it has to go, and I'll just take a little felt tip pen and just mark the stem. And usually I cut to leave a little bit of that felt tip pen mark showing, because by the time you sort of file it down a little bit to take off the jagged edges, it comes down a little bit more, and you don't want to go too far, because you'll end up making the stem too small and the whole thing doesn't work. So now I'm just cutting off the, in this case it was just under 7mm. That's it off. And there's a few little jagged edges on that stem, which I'll just have to take off with the little Dremel. If there's a bit too much felt tip pen showing, you can always actually reduce it a little bit with using the Dremel as well, if it's just like a millimetre, half a millimetre. So once those edges are taken off, I can reattach the crown just by screwing it on. And then let's see how close it is. And you do have to glue the stem to the crown using Loctite thread locker. Doesn't need a lot, just enough to secure it. And obviously once you've screwed the crown on, you can't have any loose glue making its way into the movement, so you'd have to wipe it off against the tissue there. And then once it's dried a bit, you can insert it into the movement. Now I'm having a little bit of trouble getting this into the movement, and it feels a bit stiff as I'm winding. So I'm not completely happy with it. So I'm pushing down quite hard now on the crown against that spring, and then trying to get it to a point where there's no gap. And you'll see in a minute how close it gets. So I just need to put the waterproof aid, the gasket, into the back of the case. It's best to put silicone grease on before you start, of course. The grease helps with the waterproofing. And they can be a little bit tricky to get on these. It's just a matter of keeping an even distribution pressure on the gasket as you work your way around with either a pair of, well, fingers in my case. Well, some people use tweezers or a couple of screwdrivers. But you can see the technique. Just keep it evenly spread until you can close the gap and get it to cover the groove. Okay, I made a little bit of a meal out of it, but got it done in the end. Now just tighten the case. And using the rubber ball, and it's nearly done. But I'm still not happy with this crown. It looks okay, but this crown is a problem. And I think the dial looks a little bit bare as well at the top. I didn't put a logo on, and I think with hindsight that's a mistake. So I'm trying to convince myself that it's all going to be okay. The whole thing is going to work out. But you'll see in a minute. In the end, my conclusion is no, it's not good enough. Just tighten the bracelet back up. Okay. Looks a little bit bare. I could get away with it being a little bit bare, but what I'm not so keen on is that crown. It just feels a bit tight. And there's a little bit of a gap there. I just cannot get the crown to meet the surface of the case. And if I home in on it, you'll see the little gap. It's obviously not waterproof because even with a 1mm gap, water will get in. Even water vapor will get in. And there you go. That gap's not okay. So, with a slight bit of resignation, I'm thinking, right, I've got to take this to bits again and take the movement out and see if I can find out what it is that's making the crown stick like that and not going properly. It's a lot easier to unscrew this last link of the clasp and release one end of the strap than it is to actually take the strap off at the case using the spring bars. It's not only easier; you're much less likely to scratch the watch. So this is usually how I do it. I don't always just take the spring bars off. So now the case is off and got to get the movement out, which I've now done. And yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to do is put a logo on. It just looks a little bit too bare under the 12 o'clock mark there. I'm putting the stem back in so I can move the hands and stop the second hand from coming around. You can't put a transfer on when the second hand's sweeping around. You've got to have it stopped. So the stem's inserted and I'm about to pull it out to the second position, which will stop the second hand because it's got a hacking function. Just getting me into a decent movement holder here. So now the second hand is out the way and I've taken a logo transfer and I'm positioning it right under the 12. And you've got to be careful because if you put it on like that and it goes on skew with, this is a dangerous moment here because once it's on, but luckily the silver part hasn't touched the dial yet, so you can still get it off and not leave a residue behind. Now it's in a better position and I'm just pressing down. Press down to cover all of the silver part of the logo. And then gradually peel it away. I do have different coloured logos now. I've got black, gold, rose gold, silver, so I can put my logo on pretty much most dials. And that's off, and that's leaving the logo nicely in place. So that doesn't look so bare at the top. That's good. The thing I need to sort out now is the stem and crown, which was so stiff before. Just getting a closer look at the logo here. That looks nice, I think. Okay, so on with the stem part of the project. So I wasn't clear about what it was that was making the stem so difficult to put in, but I've put it in now and I'm looking at the movement and the stem looks as if it's smack in the middle of the cylinder and it looks absolutely straight. And I'm not sure I had it exactly straight the last time, so I figured this time it might be better, and I just have to reassemble it and see what it's like. And look, screwing it down, it is actually touching the case now. So that's great. That means I've fixed it without any real trouble, just by virtue of taking the movement out and then putting it back in again. I've sort of fixed it without even trying to. So that's great. I'm happy with that. Just give the sapphire a quick rub. And that's what it looks like. I'll take my watch off now to model it. I was wearing a Grand Seiko while I was building this watch. Very accurate. Just have to peel away a bit of the protective paper. I leave the paper on so that whoever gets the watch, as you know, I give the watch away to someone in the comments section. And whoever gets the watch, they have to peel the paper off, but the reward for doing that is an absolutely gleaming bracelet. So, and you know it's never been worn, or not been worn properly anyway. It's quite a large bracelet. It just about fits on my wrist. I've got a huge wrist. It's about 9 inches. So, unless somebody gets this who's pretty big like me, they'll probably have to take a couple of links out, which is very straightforward. The clasp has got a safety clasp on as well. And that's what it's looking like. Now, I'm just focusing in properly to have a really good look at this watch and show you the functions. So I think that looks beautiful actually. If I just unscrew the crown to the first position. That's popped out now, so that's in the winding position. The second it'll start moving now when I wind it. There it goes. And then if I pull the crown out to the second position, this deals with the date and the GMT hand. So turning the dial clockwise moves the GMT hand, like that. And, sorry, not the dial, the crown I mean. And turning the crown anti-clockwise adjusts the date, as you can see. And then pull it out to the third position, and that controls the hands. And obviously allows you to set the hands relative to the GMT hand. So you put the GMT hand however many hours behind the main hour hand you want, and then you pull it to the second position and set it to the right time. Sorry, the last position and set it at the right time. And then just screw it back in. And now that crown is touching the case, and it is going to be waterproof. Mind you, I haven't tested this watch, but I mean, by waterproof, I mean, you know, it's not going to conk out if you get caught in the rain or something. I wouldn't want to take it diving.